Hi friends, welcome to another Figma tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to create a progress bar animation in Figma. We're going to work with interactive components as always, so stay tuned. We're going to start this tutorial right now. So we are in our Figma project, and as you can see, I already prepared a basic mobile frame for iPhone 13 Pro. And in this kind of frame, I already have some illustration and also text layer. This kind of illustration I simply found online. It's a SVG file, so if you're curious to download it, I left the link under this video. So let's actually select a rectangle tool and we're going to draw our progress bar shape. So I'm just going to draw here a rectangle in my canvas, and I'll just set the width of 270 pixels by 16 pixels in the height. Then I'm going also to align it to the center of the frame. And let's set up the corner radius to the value of 10. So this is just the base of our progress bar, and I will just move it outside of our frame because I'm going to create a component set which I'm going to make later on interactive. So I'm going to select the shape and I will slightly change the fill to the lighter gray, and then I will also duplicate this shape with Ctrl+D key sequence and move it a bit to the side. So instead of having just some plain solid color, let's add some fun linear gradient. I'm going to set both of the markers to the opacity of 100%, and we will just change the colors to something more colorful. So for example, this purple, then we'll have a bit darker purple, and I will just also rotate these markers from the left to the right side to make some sort of progression, this visual effect that you see usually in progress bars. Then I'm going to add additional marker, and let's just change some color, for example, to light blue. And then we will also add the fourth marker, and for example, the color of this marker is going to be light purple. Alright, so we just created our colorful progress bar. Let's move it back to our initial shape. And I'm just going to basically group both of these layers. And I'll just duplicate this group again. And I'm going to open up this group and make sure that I select my colorful rectangle shape and move it slightly to the side. This one is important to basically create an interactive component with smart animate interaction that we are going to create later on. But if you, for example, don't want to see this colorful rectangle at all, you can just move it to the minimum of 1 pixel. But as you can see, you still basically see this shape. And what you can do is just basically type in 0.01. And basically you almost do not see this shape. So especially if you zoom out, you see that it's not visible at all. Perfect, and let's actually switch the order of these shapes, because when we're going to create a component set, and we'll have our default variant set to the first element that we have in our set. So I'm just going to select both of these groups, and we'll go to the upper menu bar and click on Create Component Set. So right here we have a component set with 2 variants. You can also rename them if it's easier for you. But right here in this tutorial, I will immediately navigate to the prototype section and connect both of these layers. So for example, I will connect it from the gray bar to the colorful bar. And in the interaction details, we'll immediately select after delay. And right here, I'm going to set a delay of 5000 milliseconds. In the animation, to make a better transition between the default and complete state, I will just select Smart Animate. And right here, you already see it's a predefined value of 6000 milliseconds. And the reason for that is because we already have a very high delay right here in the interaction. So I need to kind of sum it up. Perfect. Let's go back to our mobile frame. And in our assets panel, you immediately see the local components that appeared right here. So it's our light gray bar that I'm just going to drag into my canvas. And I'll also make sure that I align it to the center. Let's move it right here. And actually, yeah, let's just basically test if it works. Right now we're in a presentation mode, and you will shortly see the progress bar. But it took some time because we had quite a high delay. So you can, of course, always play around with your interaction details. So if we go back to our project and go to our prototyping settings, we can, for example, set a delay of 3000 milliseconds instead. And in a Smart Animate, let's set 3800 milliseconds. And right now we can just test it back in our presentation mode to see if there is any difference. And you can see that it just worked much faster with this kind of delay. We can also make it much more interesting, so we can copy this frame and actually show a continue button after the progress bar was loaded. So let's actually zoom into our frame, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle right here with the corner radiuses of 20 pixels. Let's quickly paint it to the same color as our vector shape, and I will also copy this text and change it to continue. And let's basically align everything together and also group. So don't forget, before we create this interaction, that you go to your component set and change the property from group 2 to group 1, which means that you will have a colorful progress bar shown, because this is when exactly the progress bar was loaded. And now we can navigate to the prototype tab and select the first frame and connect it to the second frame. So we will work again with a delay, and in this case we'll just work with the 5000 milliseconds and smart animate animation with the ease out effect of 300 milliseconds. So let's quickly check in our presentation mode if this animation works. So we are in our presentation mode and we can see our progress bar loading, and then it was kind of too quick that we see our continue button. So let's maybe try to increase our smart animate to 1000 milliseconds and also our delay up to 5500 milliseconds. And right now let's see if there is any change. So we can see our progress bar loading, and now you can see much smoother effect with our continue button. So that was it. Thank you so much guys for watching. I hope you like this new format of tutorials. I'm really happy to answer all your questions, so if you have them, please comment under this video. And of course subscribe to see my new videos about Figma and UI design.